Why don't we see drugs in anime? During a recent YouTube binge, I regained consciousness on a clip of Joe Rogan talking to Eddie Hong about drug laws in Texas. In the video, they shine a light on the awkward spot bud is in for recreational use in America. It's illegal federally, but legal in some states. So in the US, it's illegal, but in LA, it's legal. Makes sense? Of course not. This is America. Confused and seeking escapism, I booted up JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because I'm allowed to say that watching anime is work. I landed on the episode of Stardust Crusaders with the pedo orangutan. Jotaro sparks up a cigarette and I had an out-of-body experience. I returned from the astral plane with this question. How come you hardly see euphoric substance use in anime? Drugs are a core part of society, so it's surprising that we haven't had a core character in mainstream manga that uses recreational drugs associated with euphoria. I mean, tons of series have drugs that increase your power level. In Gangsta, Nicholas and the other tag people have their Cerebret supply that gives them superhuman strength and keeps them alive. In Cowboy Bebop, they have that red-eye drug from episode 1 that gives you crackhead superpowers for a few moments. All of the power-up drugs, not the euphoric ones. After some shallow digging, I realized my first mistake was assuming that Eastern and Western societies share cultural views on recreational drug use. Most of us already knew this, but it didn't cross my mind that it would bleed into anime. In the US, references to drug use is a core part of pop culture. In Japan, that couldn't be further from reality. You won't hear musicians singing about their drug use because drugs are straight up illegal. You want to smoke a J? Here's 5 years in prison. You want to sell a J? Here's 7 years in prison and a 20 grand hole in your pocket. You like that? How about this? Skiing down the mountain or giving your friend a pair of skis is punishable by imprisonment with work for up to 20 years and a 50 grand cherry on top. In the US, if a celebrity gets caught powdering their nose, they do community service, go to rehab, appear on Oprah, then make millions off their next project. Take Eminem, Robert Downey Jr., and Samuel L. Jackson. These celebrities openly suffered with serious drug addiction, but have all rebounded, standing on the top of their trades with millions of fans worldwide, and resumes that are impossible to beat. Juice WRLD, Whitney Houston, Kurt Cobain, and Amy Winehouse all had serious issues with drugs that either caused their passing or contributed to it, yet their music is promoted and played to this day. But try that ish in Japan and it's on site. In 2019, famous actor and musician Pierre Taki was arrested for suspected powder use, and his career was murked in an instant. Overnight, Sega dropped him from his main role in the game Judgment. Not only did they write him out of the game, they changed the character model for every scene he was included in. He was the main character. His voice acting role in Olaf from Frozen was also reassigned, and the home video releases of the popular Disney movie were removed in Japan. In the end, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 18 months in prison. In that same year, Noriko Sakai, the massively famous J-pop idol, was arrested and found with a small amount of stimulants in her home. Sources say they were amphetamines, but did not mention the type or quantity. But you guessed it, her talent agency dropped her. Her music and clothing line was pulled from shelves, and her most recent ad with Toyota was removed from their website. She blamed her husband and filed for divorce. He made her do it, head ass. In 2019, rugby national Ryota Kabashima was caught with a gram of powder. He was banned from playing internationally ever again, and Toyota suspended all sponsorship of his regional team. Yeah, drugs in Japan are taken seriously. But why? What's the Wagyu beef with drugs in Japan? And why do they go so far to deplatform people for their drug use? We need to take it back. 100 years ago, Japan was very different culturally. Herb was deeply rooted in their culture. It is unclear how much it was smoked, but it is clear that it was used to make hemp, and monks burned it to ward off the spirits and bad vibes, or so they say. But then World War II happened, and the Japanese were coerced into surrender, then occupied by the US. Along with US occupation came 1948 US culture, which was very anti-drug. Japan was forced to adopt their strict policy, and 25,000 bud farms were closed in one fell swoop. Fast forward a few generations, and a culture remains that seems convinced that there is something innately evil about drugs. I'm probably missing some details, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so that's why they hate drugs, but why do they go so hard to deplatform people for their use? Honor. Japan has an honor-based system. Breaking the law as a whole is very shameful, and word gets around quick. It's like having a country where everyone is a nosy auntie or uncle. You can't get away with anything. So if a company profits from a criminal in any way, whether they sell their music or use their labor, that stands to support the criminal's actions, which would result in losses for the company via customer boycotts and loss of business partners. Meanwhile, in America, the edgier the celebrity, the better. It's like the South Park episode where everyone rags on Britney Spears so she shoots herself in the head and they comment on her new headless look. The closer a person gets to ruining their life and potentially getting themselves killed, the more we love them and adore them in America. That's why artists blow up when they die young. In Japan, separating the art from the artist seems like less of a thing. The system is adamant that the individual be no larger than the culture. So yeah, if they don't embrace drugs culturally, then that means they really don't have much to write about in their anime. Don't worry, I remember this is still a video about anime. Japanese culture hates drugs and rule breakers, so there really aren't any storylines for the general public to relate to in the realm of euphoric drug use. Lastly, though I admit that I don't like the idea of getting 5 years in prison for possession, this video isn't supposed to be a rant against Japanese culture. Our culture of promoting damaged people isn't too great either, but what can I say? No system is perfect. Like and subscribe for more content. Have a blessed day.